Have you ever created a photo that, regardless of the camera that you use, you felt inspired by it? And every time you went back to that photo, it was just reassuring and refreshing to understand is that you can create high quality photos. I can say that I experience this every single time I look at the photos from my first encounter with the belted Kingfisher. I rented the Canon R5C a few months ago. With this being a hybrid cinema camera, surprisingly, I found myself leaning or using more of the photography side of things because, to be honest, I've never used a camera that can produce 45 megapixel type of images in it. I knew that despite the range limitations that sometimes we experience in wildlife photography because you want to get a little bit closer, I knew that with having a 45 megapixel camera that can, get you that output, I understood is that I could have a little bit more flexibility in post to punch it in just a little bit more while still retaining that quality of the image. Now, my first encounter with the belted Kingfisher bird was in an open parking lot that had some wooded areas in the proximity of it, but also it had this main pond area that I think it's its main source of food, or at least one of its main sources of food, with capturing little fish. And also it was an overcast day. Now, you know me on this channel, I love a good overcast day because I always see it as just this big diffuser that can help you maintain a consistency within your exposure, within the compositions that you're getting within each scene or each photo. And I believe that the lighting was a main contributor for the belted Kingfisher photos to help its plumage palette just pop a little bit more as far as the colors are concerned of that dark blue. Now, you also were able to see on the chest area, there's a white chest, but it had this unique, brown stripe pattern on it, which I felt like it was just interesting. And I was like, man, that's a curious looking bird when the first time I was able to capture a photo of it. Now, I didn't realize at the time frame, how fortunate I was with getting a shot like this and the level of difficulty of capturing a photo of a belted Kingfisher in flight until I recently posted these photos on TikTok. I had at least 1 or 2 comments on the photos that talked about the rarity and being able to get a photo like this of the belted Kingfisher. And additionally, I've heard that others say that it has quick acceleration, which makes it elusive amongst trying to really keep it still and capturing a good photo of it at times. And doing further research, I found that they do not care for human interaction, essentially, to the point to where they will leave their own nesting area just to avoid humans. Now, personally, I didn't think it was that serious, but apparently they just don't want any smoke from us at all. Now, recently, I saw the same belted Kingfisher in the same parking lot while I was parked in my car. It had to be at least 15 feet away from me. And as soon as I got out of the car and made a couple steps toward it, it just took off. And in the first encounter, I didn't realize the launch speed was that fast. Like, wow, I can't get nothing. Like, it was gone. Like, it wasn't coming back. I got a feeling it wasn't coming back. And I would liken its speed like the American Kestrel. Now, obviously, the American Kestrel, if you didn't know, is roughly, I think, 3 times faster than the belted Kingfisher, but that doesn't disregard its speed in general. Like, it just knows how to maneuver in certain areas with this belted Kingfisher that I saw that day. I think what I learned from this recent second encounter is that I'm going to have some challenges, that I'm going to be faced with. Like, number one, camera body. Like, I have an R6 Mark II. I purchased that. I don't have a Canon R5C to where I can maintain a level of distance, even with utilizing the telephoto lens at a 500mm focal length. Not having the additional 45 megapixels to actually be able to work with in post, it's going to be kind of hard. I'm not saying it's going to be a deal breaker, but it's going to have a little bit of a challenge there. But I would say ultimately the most important thing I need to take in consideration with my next go around with this belted Kingfisher is going to be understanding its patterns, its behaviors, and really getting a feel for, how or when it's going to launch off and how I need to be prepared for that. And I think the more time I spend in that area, and I know that if anything, it's going to be a lot of, fails versus successes, that I'll get used to this bird and being able to, capture photos and video of it eventually. If you have a similar story of an animal within your wildlife, photography, videography, that it's it always eluded you. You know, I would definitely love to hear that in the comment section if you just put your story down there and read it, because at the end of the day, there may be some key factors that may help any one of us that may be searching on how we can approach our wildlife photography and our filmmaking. As always, continually appreciate the process. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Deuces. And we're out. Yes, sir. All right, cool. I think we got this one. I think we're good on this one. We'll see. And another one. Here we go.